If a rectangle is drawn so that the width is 14 inches longer than the height, if the rectangle's diagonal measurement is 26 inches, find the height. So I'm going to draw this rectangle first, and I will draw the diagonal. Diagonal is a diagonal line that connects two opposite angles of the rectangle. And we do know that this red line is 26 inches. I don't really have much more information about this rectangle except the fact that the width is 14 inches longer than the height. So let's say hypothetically my height was 5 and I'm just coming up with this number. Then the width would be 5 plus 14, which would make it 19. Again, these are just numbers that I'm coming up with, they're not from the problem. Or if the height was, let's say 7, then the width would be 7 plus 14 because it's 14 inches longer, so that's 21 inches, and so on. Again, we don't have the height, so what we'll do is we'll make our height an x, and that will mean our width is x plus 14. Now we don't really need this top part of the rectangle, so I'm going to erase that. And what we're left with here is a right triangle. There is this right angle with two legs. The first leg is x plus 14, the second leg is x, and the hypotenuse is 26. With any right triangle, there is such thing as the Pythagorean theorem that we can apply to this right triangle. And the Pythagorean theorem tells you that if you take a leg, any leg of the right triangle, and square it, and then take the second leg and square that also, that should always equal to the hypotenuse squared. Now my first leg is x, so I will replace this leg here with the x and I will square it. The second leg is x plus 14. I will do the same thing. I will replace the second leg inside of my equation with x plus 14, and I will also square it. And then the hypotenuse is my 26, and the equation also tells me to square it. I will go ahead and multiply x plus 14 by another x plus 14 because the equation tells me to square it, and I will do that work on the side in blue. So I distribute the x first here, and it gives me x squared plus 14x. And then I will do the same with this 14, so that will give me 14x plus 196. And combining these two 14s with an x, I get x squared plus 28x plus 196. And this expression will be replacing this set of parentheses inside of my equation. So that equation for the Pythagorean theorem is going to look like this. X squared, and I'm just bringing this x squared down. Then in replacement with x plus 14 squared, I will have this blue box, x squared plus 28x plus 196. And then my equal sign, this one right here. And then 26 squared is 676. So now I want to clean it up a little more. I will combine the x squared and this x squared here. That will give me 2x squared. And then the 28x will follow. And I will go ahead and subtract 676 from this 196 because I need to have a 0 on the other side. This is a quadratic equation. Negative 480. I used to have it equal to 676, but I moved 676 to the left, so it's now a 0. All that's left to do is to solve this equation either using factoring or the quadratic formula. I will go ahead and first divide all terms by 2 just to make the numbers smaller, and they're clearly all divisible by 2. You can think of it as taking a 2 outside of the parentheses. So the first term is going to be just x squared. The second one here will become a 14 with an x, and 480 divided by 2 will be 240. 0 after the equals sign will stay as 0. So I'm going to rewrite this question. And this equation, it's actually solvable using factoring. What we need to do is find two numbers that multiply to negative 240, and at the same time add to 14. And I'm thinking that is negative 10 and positive 24. Let's check. Negative 10 times 24 is negative 240, which is what we wanted. And negative 10 plus 24 is positive 14. So this trinomial here becomes x minus 10, x plus 24 equals to 0, and then we solve by making each set of parentheses equal to 0. So the first x from here is going to be positive 10, and the second x is negative 24. I will go ahead and exclude the negative 24 because this question, this problem, actually gave us context, and we know these x's represent the height of the rectangle. Going back here, the x is the height of the rectangle, so we only will keep the positive answer, which is this positive 10. I want to go back to that picture. So this x is 10, which is the height. And that means to find the width, all I have to do here is to add 14 to my height. So 10 plus 14, that's 24, and that's the width.